why Marcus Aurelius would crush today's problems. Imagine being one of the most powerful people in the world, while a deadly plague sweeps through your empire. Wars rage on multiple fronts, and your own family betrays you. This was the daily reality for Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who ruled from 161 to 180 AD. Yet instead of crumbling under pressure, he became one of history's greatest philosophers. His secret, a mindset so powerful that it could solve many of our modern problems today. The emperor who wrote in his tent, Marcus Aurelius faced challenges that would break most people. A devastating plague killed millions across the Roman Empire. Germanic tribes attacked from the north. His co-emperor died. His own son turned out to be a disaster. Political rivals plotted against him constantly. Despite this chaos, Marcus found time to write at night in his military tent. He recorded his thoughts in a personal journal. He never intended to publish these writings. They were private reminders about how to stay calm and focused. Today, we know these writings as meditations, one of the most practical philosophy books ever written. Focus on what you control. The foundation of Marcus's approach was simple. Focus only on what you can control and accept everything else. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Think about how much time we waste worrying about things we cannot change. We stress about the weather, other people's opinions, past mistakes, and future uncertainties." Marcus understood that this worry is useless. The only things we truly control are our thoughts, our actions, and our responses to events. When the plague hit Rome, Marcus could not stop the disease, but he could control how he responded. He organized relief efforts and stayed calm to keep people from panicking. When barbarians invaded, he could not prevent their attacks, but he could lead his armies with courage. This focus on controllable actions kept him effective when others would have been paralyzed by anxiety. Modern applications. Social media and anxiety. How would Marcus Aurelius handle today's world? Consider social media, which fills our minds with constant noise, comparison, and outrage. Marcus would see it as a perfect example of focusing on things outside our control. Someone posts a nasty comment about you online. You cannot control what they think or say. You can only control your response. Marcus would ask, does this person's opinion change who you actually are? The answer is no. So why give their words power over your peace of mind? Modern anxiety often comes from information overload. We know about every crisis happening anywhere in the world. Marcus faced similar overwhelming information about troubles across his empire. His solution: deal with what is in front of you right now. He wrote, confine yourself to the present. Do not borrow tomorrow's problems or replay yesterday's failures. The power of negative visualization. Marcus practiced a technique that sounds depressing but is actually liberating. He regularly imagined worst-case scenarios. Each morning, he would mentally prepare by thinking, today I will meet people who are rude, ungrateful, arrogant, and dishonest. Why? Because when these situations actually happened, he was not surprised or upset. He had already accepted them as part of human nature. This practice removes the shock factor from bad events. If you expect your flights might be delayed, you pack patience. If you know your project might face obstacles, you prepare backup plans. Modern people could use this technique for everything from traffic jams to difficult colleagues. By imagining challenges in advance, we stop seeing them as personal attacks. They become expected parts of life that we can handle with grace. Obstacles are the way. Marcus said a famous saying, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. In simpler terms, obstacles are not just challenges to overcome, they are the actual path to success. Think about modern examples. You want to start a business, but you have no money. That limitation forces you to be creative, to start small, to learn efficiency. The obstacle becomes your training ground. You want to get healthy, but you have a busy schedule. That constraint forces you to find efficient workouts. The obstacle becomes the method. Marcus applied this constantly. When plague reduced his army's numbers, he adapted his strategy. When funds ran low, he auctioned palace treasures. Every problem contained the seeds of its own solution. If he looked at it correctly, understanding human nature, Marcus understood people deeply. He recognized that we are social creatures who need each other, yet we constantly frustrate each other. His approach to relationships was both realistic and compassionate. He wrote that when someone wrongs you, ask yourself, what did they think was good? People rarely act with pure malice. Usually, they are pursuing what they believe is right, even if they are mistaken. This perspective creates understanding instead of rage. In today's polarized world, this wisdom is precious. We assume people who disagree with us are evil or stupid. Marcus would encourage us to seek their perspective first. Often, this transforms enemies into people we can work with or at least tolerate peacefully. He also believed in setting boundaries. Understanding someone does not mean accepting abuse. Marcus removed disloyal advisors firmly but without personal hatred, viewing it as necessary justice, not revenge. Remember death? Marcus frequently reminded himself that he would die. You could live life right now, he wrote. Let that determine what you do and say and think. This practice, called memento mori, was not morbid but clarifying. When you remember that your time is limited, petty concerns fade away. That grudge you are holding, that trivial argument, that fear of looking foolish, death puts it all in perspective. Marcus used mortality as a filter for deciding what truly matters. For modern people drowning in distractions, this practice is powerful. Ask yourself, if I only had 1 year left, would this matter? Suddenly, scrolling social media for hours seems wasteful. Holding on to resentments seems pointless. Not pursuing your real dreams seems tragic. Why his approach works today? Marcus Aurelius would crush today's problems because his philosophy addresses timeless aspects of human psychology. Technology changes, but human nature does not. We still feel anxiety, anger, fear, and confusion. We still face obstacles, disappointments, and mortality. His methods work because they are practical, not abstract. He does not tell you to pretend everything is fine. He tells you to see reality clearly. Accept what you cannot change. Focus on what you can control. And act with courage and wisdom. Modern self-help often promises easy answers and quick fixes. Marcus offers something better, a sustainable framework for handling whatever life throws at you. His wisdom comes from someone who faced real catastrophes and still maintained his integrity and effectiveness. Conclusion: if Marcus Aurelius were alive today, he would likely be amazed by our technology, but unsurprised by our problems. Humans still struggle with the same fundamental challenges: how to stay calm under pressure, how to deal with difficult people, how to find meaning in suffering, and how to live well knowing that death is certain. His writings remain relevant because they address these permanent aspects of human existence. You do not need to be a philosopher or emperor to benefit from his wisdom. You just need to apply his core principles: Focus on what you control, accept what you cannot change, use obstacles as opportunities, prepare for difficulties, understand human nature, and remember that your time is limited. These simple ideas, practiced consistently, can transform how you handle stress, relationships, and challenges. Marcus Aurelius proved their power by ruling an empire through plague, war, and betrayal, while maintaining his sanity and goodness. If his philosophy worked in those extreme circumstances, imagine what it could do for your daily life. The beauty of Stoicism is that it makes you stronger without making you harder. It helps you care less about trivial things, so you can care more about important things. That is exactly what our distracted, anxious, modern world needs.